Welcome back, everybody, to Contracting Business Basics. I'm your host, Lori Rawlings, Executive Director of the Plumbing and Mechanical Contractors Association of Oregon, Southwestern Washington, and Northern California. We're bringing you this program in conjunction with the Mechanical Contractors Association of Western Washington. And today we are doing learning module number 6, financial record keeping. So I'd like to turn it over to our instructor, Hank Brancasio. Hank, welcome back.
Thanks, Lori. Glad to be back. Today, we're going to talk about financial record keeping. We've covered 2 out of the 5 key external partners in banking and legal issues. Today, we're going to talk about financial record keeping, which encompasses not only your accounting service, external accounting service, but we'll also talk a little bit about an internal bookkeeper, record keeper, controller, whatever it might be. So we're gonna look at that. We call it financial record keeping, but it's both internal and external financial record keeping from that standpoint. Important person, important people. You better be able to trust these folks because they're the ones that are handling your money, and you better have somebody who understands the business. And so we're going to talk about some objectives here. And this is kind of a not to offend anybody, but I know what happens. You start a small business and you think, oh, well, I'm starting a small plumbing business and I'll have my spouse take care of the books because she wants to do that and she takes care of the home stuff and that's fine. But you better hope that that person, whoever it is, cousin, brother, sister, spouse, understands everything that goes into taking care of the books in a construction business. It's not the same as a manufacturing business. It's a little bit different. And so that's important that we talk about that. Understand, will you need an outside accountant? You will. And what makes a good selection? So that's important that you have somebody external to your organization because it provides a little bit of checks and balances. If everything is done internally, you lose some of those checks and balances. So even large corporations, which obviously are much more complicated, in many cases, they're required to have an external accounting service. They're required to go through an audit every year. And so even though you're small, you're going to need some good people to help you here. And then what to look for in an accounting software. So you're thinking, why do I need an accounting software? Well, we'll talk about that a little bit and some of the things that go into that software. One thing I want to point out here, we are not trying to turn you into accountants because you're not. You're a plumber, you're a steam fitter, you're a mechanical contractor, but this is a major component that helps you run your business more efficiently. Internal financial manager. I put it on the first of the list because it's probably the most important one. Can you trust them? This is the person who's handling all your money. They're making deposits for you. They're keeping your books. Many a company has been bamboozled out of their business by the wrong accountants. I'm talking internal now, not external. And so, can you trust them? That's an important one from that standpoint. The next biggest one is, do they understand the construction business? And I bring this up because the construction business is not manufacturing. It's not like I make a widget and I sell the widget. I make 100 widgets. It costs me X amount of dollars to make them. I sell them all for Y amount of dollars. I get my money. It's cut and dry. Construction's a little different because you might have a construction business where you're working on a project that takes a year to build. And every month you're doing a little bit of work. And so, I do a little bit of work. Maybe I don't get paid for 3 more months. Maybe I do get paid. There's a little bit more involved with it. So having somebody who understands that, what's known as percentage of completion, you're going to hear that term, which is POC. It goes with the construction business. It doesn't go with the manufacturing business. So important to understand, you got to track all your costs and you got to be able to do this by job. It's not like you just throw them all in a bucket and at the end of the year you go, well, I billed $1 million. I got paid $800,000 and I had 600,000 of it. You need to understand where that money's going on a job by job basis. And so that's important that whatever you do, you must be able to look at this on a job by job. When you first start off, if you're starting a new business, you might have 3 jobs on the books. Pretty easy to do. But how about down the road, or let's say you're taking over a business, there's 100 projects on the books. It gets a lot more complicated and more opportunity for mistakes. That person has to be able to make deposits, write checks, handle your money, set up financial software, whatever it might be. I'm not going to begin to even attempt to tell you which financial software to use, but I will tell you some of the things you want to look for in financial software. Can they do backlog reviews? Now, again, when you're first starting out, it's just you. But what happens if there's 5 people, 5 project managers, 10 project managers, each project manager's got 10 to 20 projects. Now, all of a sudden, your backlog review could be 100 projects that you have to go through to find out, are you making money? Aren't you making money? Have you been paid? Haven't you been paid? All the issues that goes along with a backlog review. And can they save you money? And do they understand state and local tax laws? I haven't read here, remember, everything on the list will need to get done. Either the bookkeeper or controller or accountant in your office is going to do it, or an outside accountant's going to do it, and that's going to cost you a lot of money, or you have to do it. But it all has to get done. It's not like I'm making this stuff up. It has to get done. You got to figure out which one. I would tell you it's a heck of a lot more efficient if you hire an accounting person, a bookkeeper who can do all of this. It's less expensive than you doing it. It's less time consuming. You got your own problems trying to run projects and get work and market and sell and deal with customers. You don't want to be doing all of this stuff that's up here because it just becomes a problem. And you don't want to use an outside accountant if you can help it, because it's going to cost you some money. It's not free to have them do this.
Just a question on terminology. When we're talking about backlog reviews, can you talk to us a little bit more about what the backlog is and what a backlog review is?
Sure. Let's just say you've got one project manager. Even you have no project managers, you got 15 projects running at any given time. And those projects are from starting to just about finished of the 15 projects. So you might have one project that just starting this month, another project that might be 2 months into the project, another project that might be 6 months into the project. They're all different levels of completion that each project has, ranging from 0% complete to 100% complete. So backlog review is I'm going to look at the individual projects and I'm going to look at things like, where's my labor on the job? Where's my subcontracting on the job? Where's all my purchases on the job? Any costs related to the projects broken down between labor, material, subcontracting, vendor purchases. Just keep it simple from that standpoint. And I might be at different stages on every job. So I need to understand, where are we on these jobs with costs? And then, have I billed the job? You know, what billing percentage? Because you could be at 0% billed to 100% billed. And then where am I for collections? So you might think, well, this makes sense. If it's 0% started, well, then I should have no cost against the job. Well, it doesn't always work that way. You know, some people went and bought something. The job just got started. Maybe the job is finished and you haven't billed the job completely yet. Maybe it's only billed 75%. Why? Or maybe the job is completed. You've billed it 100%. You've only been paid 50%. So we talked a little bit about this in our previous pro forma when we talked about financial stuff on a project and cash flow. But the fact remains is these projects can vary when you're first starting off, or if you have a small business and you are only running 10 projects, it's much easier to manage. But as your business grows and you've got 2, 3, 4, 10 project managers running jobs, and each project manager is running 10 to 15 projects, this gets pretty intense each month. And it's each month. When I ran the mechanical business, I did a backlog review every single month. And the reason I did that is because it was a concern, because every project manager may think they're on top of their projects, but they may not be. And so next thing you know, you got somebody that's 50% completed on the job. And I'll say that maybe they've got 50% of the labor spent on the job, and they've got 50% of the material spent on the job, but they've only billed 10% of the job. So now you got a billing problem that you need to understand. Or you've got a job that's 50% complete, you've billed it 10%, and you've only collected 10%. Now you have a billing and a collection problem on it. So this is important. Let's talk a little bit about an accounting service. We talked about internal accountant. Now let's talk about external accounting service, why you need it. I start off with the same thing. Can you trust them? I mean, that's kind of a key thing when it comes to finances. Can they be a key external partner? Now, I will tell you that all of these 5 that we're talking about, attorneys and bankers, I look for partners, external partners that can bring me solutions. I don't need another order taker. I don't need somebody that only does what I want them to do. I need somebody that can, one, say to me, that's a bad idea, Hank. I wouldn't do that. I need somebody that can say, hey, I got an idea. Let me throw this at you. I think this could really help your business. I need people that can be proactive. And that's the key when you look for a partner. And I don't care whether it's an internal partner, like an employee, or an external partner. You got to have somebody that can be proactive and bring ideas to you, because you don't know everything, and you need people that can really help you run your business. And so it's important that we do that. Bring solutions. We talked about that. Think out of the box. That's real important. At one time, I had a financial outside accounting firm that had been with the company I was running for many, many, many years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever. And another accounting firm that I had developed a relationship with came to me with an idea that was just brilliant and really could save me a lot on taxes and liability issues. And eventually I ended up actually firing the original accounting firm and starting and going with this new accounting firm, because I wanted people that brought new ideas to it. And to this day, that accounting firm is still handling the contractor I was running. If you're wondering, where do I find an accounting service? How do I know where to go to? Go ask other contractors, talk to general contractors, talk to other mechanicals, talk to electricals, talk to your banker, talk to your insurance agent, talk to people that you consider your partners, your attorney. All of them are dealing with accountants somewhere, somehow. And so go find out if there's somebody else out there that's different. And like I mentioned earlier with the banker, go interview these folks, go talk to these people. Maybe if they're doing a seminar, go sit through the seminar. See if you feel comfortable with them. It's important to do that. As I show in red here, the outside accounting services are checks and balances to your overall business. Your bank and bonding company will look to them as a safety check for your overall financial health. You may think you know it all, and you may think, well, I did this and nobody needs to know I did that. Well, your other people, like your bonding and your bank, they're going to go call that accounting service because they all know one another. And consequently, they're going to use them as a good, reliable thing. And they'll say, hey, yeah, I work with Acme Mechanical. They're great guys. They're great people. They really know what they're doing. They're strong financially. That's the kind of feedback you want your accounting service to provide to your bank, to your bonding company, because it just is going to relieve a lot more problems in the future.
Hank, I really like the point you made about asking other contractors, particularly other mechanical contractors, for their advice on who they use for an accounting service, because you do want to look for somebody who actually understands the mechanical contracting business, because it's a different animal than a lot of other businesses like retail or manufacturing. And one thing that people who are new to this industry might want to keep in mind is that our association, PMCA, or the MCAA, of Western Washington. Those are great resources in terms of networking with other contractors who do the type of work that you do and just finding out who they do business with. You'd be kind of surprised at how willing other contractors are to share information as long as it's not kind of trade secret stuff for them. And as long as they're not violating antitrust rules by telling you exactly how much they're charging and stuff like that. But they're more than helpful in terms of kind of pointing you to professionals they've worked with that have been good for them to work with in the past.
It's a great point, Lori. And I think that's how you go about trying to find a good accounting firm, besides talking to your banker or your insurance agent or your attorney. Go talk to other contractors. Go talk to general contractors. Everybody in the industry is using an accounting service to some degree. And you don't need the biggest accounting firm, but you need somebody that's familiar with this business. Let's talk about software. This is a challenge. I'm not even going to begin to tell you what software to buy or use, but I'll try to point out what you need to be looking for in software. And it starts with, is it easy to use? If it's so complicated, well, then that's crazy, from that standpoint. You want to understand, can it do construction accounting? Because that's important for our business. Can it do percentage of completion? Can it do percentage of completion? Can it do multiple cost codes? Like material and subcontracting and equipment? You can kind of see everything that's on here. Can it do service? Can it do union stuff? That's important to understand. You've got some requirements on the union side that you don't have if you were not a union contractor. Timesheets. This is kind of important as your business grows. When you first start your business, if that's what you're involved with, you may say, well, I only need to be able to get access to this accounting information. But what about as your business grows and you hire a couple more project managers? They've got to get to that. Your accountants have to get to it. And so consequently, can it be accessed via a computer or a smartphone, a tablet? How does it back up? Does it back up on a server in your office, or does it back up out in the cloud? So these are things that you want to ask when you're trying to select an accounting software, because it's important. Some more stuff that's related to accounting software. How many users can you use in it? Because you might buy an accounting software that can only handle 5 people or 10 people. What happens if you get bigger and now it can't do that? And it costs a lot more money. How much is it going to cost? Accounting software can get very expensive. And I'm not talking $5,000. I'm talking $100,000, $200,000, depending on the size of your business. So you want to be sure that it's cost effective. It's bringing value to you. Can it track your inventory? Do you need any special computer hardware or software? I worked at a mechanical contractor who had purchased an accounting software prior to me getting there. And I will tell you, wasn't very good. It was very limited in what it could do. And that became a real problem because it's very expensive to upgrade and change software out. So be aware of this, ask some good questions about the accounting software. And in today, can it be accessed remotely, which is important to understand. So these are important things. And then finally, can it generate an income statement? Can it generate a balance sheet? Can it do it automatically, or do you have to manually generate those? So important things to look for when you're looking for software. There's a lot out on the market. Again, this is another one of those items where get some advice from other people that are using accounting software. If you've got a relationship with your other mechanical ask them, what are you guys using for software? How long have you had it? Do you like it? Don't you like it? Because this is one of those things. If you make a decision and buy a software package, and a year into this, you find out this was a mistake. This is an expensive mistake that's hard to fix. You either got to live with it or you got to eat another $50,000 in software. So important to understand. Accounting software will help your business manage your financial record keeping easier, no question about it. Can you do it on a spreadsheet? You can when you're small. 1 person, 2 people, you got 10 jobs, it can be done on a spreadsheet. But as you grow, it's going to get more and more difficult to do that. You got to keep track of project costs, and it's got to be broken down from labor and material, subcontracting, vendor items. It's got to manage your cash flow more effectively. It's got to make things easier for accountant and banker, and provide a dashboard for financial health, because this is what really runs the darn business. And so you've got to understand, am I making money or am I losing money? And can I access it easy enough where it's not too complicated?
Great. That's really helpful.
Good.
And any final thoughts on financial record keeping before we?
I think that when you look at financial record keeping internally, you need a bookkeeper or a controller or an accounting manager. Externally, you need to hire an accounting service. In both cases, you need people that are familiar with the business, people you can trust, and people that'll make your life easier because you're busy running the business. So you're dealing with people issues, you're dealing with customer issues, you're dealing with sales, marketing. You've got this whole aspect. You're dealing with problems on the job, and you don't need this financial piece to be a burden on your life, because it could really run you into the ground quickly.
That's really great advice. Really great advice. Excellent. Thanks, Hank, for walking us through financial record keeping. And we look forward to seeing everybody in our next learning module, which is on insurance.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you.